Hi, my name is Sharon Bryan. I'm 60 years old. I was born in England in 1962 from my Jamaican parents who were working very hard and had just bought their first house. And I came to live in Gloucester when I was 47. My dad came from Jamaica in 54 alone, very shortly after they married, and my mum came approximately a year later to live with my dad, who'd found accommodation for them to be. When my dad left Jamaica in 54, he left my mum, who was expecting my brother, and when my dad called for my mum to come to England to premises that he'd secured, my mum came with my brother, who was approximately 9 months old at that time, and very quickly became pregnant with my other brother in 1956. The relationship that I had with my siblings, two older brothers, was sometimes tense, especially with the older one. The other brother, he had hearing problems, and so I taught myself to sign, and we actually used to hang out, that's a way of putting it, a great deal, because I could always be that supportive little sister for him in speaking in his place because of his deafness. The difficulties I had with my older brother growing up were really only an age difference. It never really had anything to do with the fact that he was born in Jamaica and I was born here. So now, as we are now adults, years on, we have a wonderful relationship, no problems at all. And we've just travelled to Jamaica together on a plane, and obviously, and exchanges of words of love and what have you, which is really beautiful, which I missed growing up with him. I visited Jamaica. I definitely went in 69. I went in 76 and I went again in 80. After that, when did I go? I can't remember. But yeah, after that, as an adult, I've been quite a few times to visit other members of the family. My parents left England and retired to Jamaica in 1992, so that makes them having been back in Jamaica 30 years, and I have been back to visit them approximately 4 times since then, and the last time being January 2023. Going back, as I was growing up with my parents, they told me many stories about Jamaica. My dad being born in Manchester, Portland, and my mum was born in Kingston and lived in Duaney Park. And they told me many stories of the things that they used to do, like the rolling of the ball of a tyre with a stick going down the road, especially my dad. They told me about obviously the love story of them coming together. It was just like love at first sight, and my dad knew that she was the woman for him and that they would be together forever. And next year, 2024, will be 70 years of marriage. They had heard the story, our late Queens, who had invited many Caribbean people and others to come and rebuild the UK after the Second World War, where we lost many of the men, and help was needed. And my dad reached an age and had the skills to be able to come over to work and support the UK, or Great Britain as it was known then, to rebuild and become Britain, because it's no longer great. My upbringing from my parents was a strict Christian, loving, happy family. I can't recall any time apart from in the teenage, which was normal teenage things, disharmony. My parents never argued and shouted and swore at each other. We didn't, as children, witness this behaviour. We went places, we went on holidays, we went to visit family together. No, I had an awesome upbringing. My upbringing influenced me in that I have a wonderful relationship with all four of my children. I have two boys and two girls, and the relationship that we all have a small example. My daughter lives an hour and a half away from me, and Mothering Sunday just gone, 19th of March 2023. My daughter left her home and drove all the way to Gloucester just to spend a couple of hours with me on Mother's Day. And I got messages from all of them. They care for me, they look after me, and they see out for me all of the time, whether it's just a phone call or a physical visit to help me. Being a child of migrant parents has been my worst experience. Has really been the magnitude of racism that there is living in a country where we were invited. We were invited by our Queen. I believe our Queen kind of didn't realise that her subjects were going to be so out of order and not behave in a manner that was acceptable to her or to anybody. It's getting better in this 21st century, but it was and has been a real struggle, especially when I lived on the Isle of Wight and I was the only black person there, period. The worst experiences and the things that were so terrible. There's a lot in the news right about now, and the first thing that it is police. The police were the worst. The direct experiences I had with the police were things like they didn't have AMPR registration readers in them days. I got stopped regularly in my car. Have you got a driving licence? Have you got tax, insurance, MOT on your car? All these things they knew because they only stopped me last week and they knew it was okay. But I have to say, perseverance won me through, and I think a lot of my persona, I think that's the right word, because I won them over, and they didn't become friends, they just became enemies that I wore closer. I lived on the Isle of Wight for 23 years. For many years I got stop. Whether it was myself driving or even my husband was driving, and my husband was white. My children, I have to say that especially my sons, were accused of things that they didn't do. They were arrested for things that they didn't do. They couldn't have done it because that happened on a Tuesday, and my children were in a boarding school on a Tuesday. They went to boarding school all week, but the police still came to the house. They still rammed my door down, and they still arrested them and asked them questions, even though they knew they couldn't have been there to do it. The best experiences is my upbringing with my parents. Them being migrant and us being the family of migrants, my parents did their best for us, always. And we never went without. They gave us the best of everything that they could do, and they had some wonderful friends that did exactly the same. We were all, as a family, well loved. Me, having visions of living in the Caribbean, going to live in Jamaica, never. Won't happen. I carry on visiting. I hate flying. Come on. I hate takeoff and I hate landing. I need somebody's hand to hold on. But I'll go on holiday. You will never get me to go and live in Jamaica. Never get me to go and live in Kingston. Too dangerous. But you know what? It's a lovely place to be. And my parents are blessed.